disclaimer here before we do the video here. Poison Help Center here. So there's your number here. Go ahead. If this deck is too much trouble for you, and you're handling the deck without pincers, using pincers, then well, I'm sorry, but if you've touched the deck and you are infected, go ahead and call the Poison Help Center there, and they'll get you through that. Oh my goodness. In any case, what do we have here? We have a modern infect deck, and we're going to go through it quickly, and we are going to explain it. And this is one that people will hate you for. Oh, they will not like you. They'll say, oh my goodness. So we're going to go through our instance first. So we have 4 of these. Blossoming Defense. And what of our 4 Blossoming Defense for 1 green? Target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains hexproof until end of turn. That's just perfect for us because we are going to have those infect creatures. We're going to be putting those poison counters out. We don't want them removed. We want that damage getting through. In addition, we're going to have target creature and all other creatures with the same name as that creature get +2/+2 until end of turn. And for 1 and a green, end game, that's very nice if we got some of those infect creatures on the battlefield. We have 2 Putrefies to take care of troublesome artifacts or creatures. Cannot be regenerated. So 2 Putrefies. Alright. Those there. All up here where we'll need them. Alright, and here's the showboat here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course we have Glistener Elves, right? Of course we're going to have those. So we have 4 of those, and they're 1 green for a 1/1 with infect. And how nice is it that we can use those turn 2, and they can be a 3/3 with infect. And if we have a few of these on the board, and we play something like that, each of those is going to get that, and those are just going to annihilate. And recently acquired from Card Kingdom, we have a Defiler. So put those over here for later a reference. You know what? I'm going to move them down here. I don't like that shine we got going on. So we're going to go right along the bottom. How about that? How about them apples? And Viridian Betrayers for 1 and 2 green. These are elves also. That's important to us because these are our infected elves. Viridian Betrayers has infect as long as an opponent is poisoned. So they will be. So we have 2 of those. So they're a 3/1 for 3. Not too shabby. Viridian Corruptor, an infect 2/2 for 3, and when it enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact. Very good to get rid of those pesky rocks down there. Now, these are not infectious elves. These elves have not fraternized with the infected ones, as it were. We have Imperious Perfect. For 2 and a green, we get a 2/2 Elf Lord. Other elf creatures you control get 1/1. And for 1 green, you can put a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token into play. We're just running 2 of those. In addition, we are running 2 Immaculate Magistrates. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature for each elf you control. Again, hoping to pull one of these late game. If we have a few elves, we can target one of our infect creatures, hopefully. And having those elves out, that will be a swing in for the win. Dwynen Guiltleaf Dean. Reach. Other elf creatures you control get +1/+1. We're just running 1 of these legendary creatures. And whenever Dwynen Guiltleaf Dean attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking elf you control. And what's this? A Death Touch elf. Interesting. Infectious and deadly in a different way. So we have 1 of these elves for 1 green mana with Death Touch. A 1/1 with Death Touch for 1 green. Very fair, if I say so myself. We have Galissa the Trader. For 1 and 2 green, we get Galissa. First strike, Death Touch. Whenever a creature an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Not bad. We don't care too much about that. Galissa's cool. First strike, Death Touch. That we like that of her. So that almost makes her be able to attack and pop off opponents like no tomorrow. But we just like that Death Touch ability, and it's fun having her in there. And then in the other Death Touch creature, we have 1 and 2 a
a swamp and a forest. So 1 and a black and a green. We get a death touch 1/1, but all creatures able to block or an assassin do so. So when this swings in with our infect creatures, everything's going to have to block this, so those infect creatures will get in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seems like a lot for that heavy mana cost, I know. But I do not regret having 4 of these shiny beauties in there. And look at that. Sneaking around there like no tomorrow. What a cat's paw, eh? Alright, now back to infect creatures that are not elves. So Ickerclaw Myrrh. For 2 mana, we get a 1/1 with infect. But whenever Ickerclaw Myrrh becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. That's cool. Because if we beef it up, it's going to be a 5/5. So it'll take care of anything dealing damage towards it. We're going to run 2 of those. And getting into interesting creatures. The beast here, the infect beast. So for 2 and a green, we get a 2/3 cyst bearer. We have 2 of those. Kind of a utility infect creature. And to get that last bit of damage in with a flyer, we have 2 of these plague stingers. Flying infect 1/1 for 1 and a black. So very effective to us, right? Back to the death touch creatures. You'll see why we have these death touch creatures in a moment. So this is Blood Rush. Discard Wasteland Viper. Target attacking creature gets +1/+2 and gains death touch until end of turn. There's just 1 of these in here. It's 1 green mana for a 1/2 with the Blood Rush and the death touch. We have Ambush Viper. It's a flash. 1 in green. We get a death touch 2/1. And then here you go. This is why these death touch creatures are in here. We have 1, 2, and 3. Finn the Fangbearer. Death touch. Whenever a creature you control death touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. And our death touch creatures are going to wipe the board. So Finn the Fangbearer. Very cool. And commander possibilities, right? Very cool commander possibilities. So 3 Finn the Fangbearers, 2 Hooded Blight Fangs. With 2 and a black, you get a Death Touch 1/4. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Whenever a creature you control Death Touch deals damage to a Planeswalker, we're going to destroy that Planeswalker. Down to the lands, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 swamps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 forests, and 1, 2, 3 Llanowar Wastes, and 1, 2 Tainted Wood. And that is our mana base. So, what does this deck aim to do? I think that's quite obvious. It aims to get whether they be our Death Touch creatures out, our Infect, and we simply want to pop them up with Blossoming Defense and send them in. And we're always going to be sending them in with Death Touch creatures, with these Orin Assassins, which are going to be taking as like a sponge to get everybody else in. And very quickly I've found that this wipes the floor. And if it doesn't very quickly, the beauty of this not just being like the rest of the Infect deck lists you see all over the internet, this one can go long game. You got some life gain, you have plans. With the Death Touch Infect thing, you don't just rely on Infect creatures, which aren't always the best creatures. So using Finn, which 3 is the number. Anybody building this, I will repeat it again and again. Do not run 4 of these. I did, and I've tried it. Too many. I tried it with 2 and I tried it with 4, and 3 seems the perfect balance. So between Finn's ability, the Death Touch Infect, and the regular Infect, this really just stomps through, and you'll get those 10 Infect counters on your opponent in no time. Oh, speaking of Infect, I don't feel so good. Oh, man. I forgot to use my tongs when I was touching my infectious deck. I better get my antidote here. Coffee. And there it is. We're going to probably match this deck up against another deck coming up here in the next few days. We're going to do a 1v1 against another modern deck. maybe a deck running the monkey. That's what we want to see. So go ahead and go through it again. Got that deck list going to be up soon. I'm working with putting all these deck lists up somewhere. And I know my decks change, but they don't change that much. But with new cards coming out, you know, you add stuff hither and thither. Oh, I'm at 10 minutes. You guys have a good one. Have an enjoyable weekend. Be safe. Be good to one another. Enjoy the wonderful game of luxury cardboard. Get out there and play some music. Pet your dogs and cats. Hug your grandparents. Etc., etc. And until the next one.